We are kicking off Thanksgiving week together today on Western Sports Roundup. Here's what's coming up. We'll get the latest on the EHV-1 outbreak. Dr. Justin High from the Riata Equine Hospital in Weatherford, Texas will join us with the latest.
And the National Cutting Horse Association's Metallic Cat Futurity and World Finals continues over at Will Rogers right here in Fort Worth. They've got a go-around or two done of the World Finals. We'll have some of those updates for you as they get closer and closer to Championship Day.
And if you're one of the top 15 breakaway ropers in the world, you're on hold right now. National Finals breakaway roping canceled out of the South Point Hotel and Casino next week. They're waiting on a new home and a new location. Taylor Munsell will join us. She's the world standings leader. We'll get the latest from the cowgirl who sits in the #1 spot.
We can't vaccinate our way out of an outbreak of this, but we can sure eliminate it. And I know, like I said before, it's not that much fun, but if we can quarantine a couple extra days on this side, it's going to save us months on the opposite end. You know, some of those events have been delayed, and that's smart, and that buys us more time to get everybody kind of clean, get this shut down, get those horses on the opposite side of this where we can go and bring horses together, commingle things, kind of go back to things as usual.
Well, welcome to Western Sports Roundup. As always, we're proud to remind you that the Cowboy Channel is the exclusive home of the PRCA, your destination for the very best in rodeo action.
And we've got big news for our fans. Western Sports Roundup will now be simulcast live on YouTube. That means you can watch the show in real time on both the Cowboy Channel and our YouTube live stream, giving you even more ways to stay connected with us and to Western Sports.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in the stockyards. Isn't that a song, Steve
I
Kenyon?
think that's a song.
Yeah, I think I've heard that somewhere.
You should break into song.
Nah, maybe not today. Maybe we'll try it another day. It is Thanksgiving week, and of course, we are certainly glad that you folks are joining us. By the way, happy holidays and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as we're just a few days away from Thanksgiving. Welcome to Western Sports Roundup. I'm Ty McClary alongside Steve Kenyon as we welcome you in. And we start off with our Kubota top story of the day. We like to do this each and every Monday. Of course, it's brought to you by Kubota. Together we do more. It's some good news, some positive news about National Finals Rodeo Barrel Racing qualifier Anita Ellis.
It has been a week and a half or more now since Anita Ellis got in a bad accident, hit her head on some concrete. Spent the weekend in ICU. She is on the path to full recovery. Her husband, Brandon, has been updating us almost daily on Facebook. Says up and walking with a walker.
Yeah, and here's what Brandon, Anita's husband, had to say. I asked if she remembers how she used to manifest the end result, and she didn't hesitate. Yes, I've already seen myself healed and back on my horse. I'm not worried about it. That's what Anita said. Brandon went on to say she walked today without a walker, just the PT holding her arm. She's tracking conversations, staying awake longer, and actually engaging with us. Huge, huge steps.
Yeah, those really are. Remember, Anita Ellis has qualified for her first Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, the champion of the Calgary Stampede. This year, $146,000, number 8 in the world standings. There is an auction going on for $1,200 in entry fees. This is from the Extreme $1 Million Barrel Race. All of the proceeds go directly to Anita. The auction closes on December the 1st. And for more information, load them in the Dark Cattle Company on Facebook. Well, it is time to follow up on the developing story that we've been keeping an eye on for a week now. That's a look at Las Vegas and the home of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, the Thomas and Mack, where the 40th year of the NFR at the Thomas and Mack is about to get underway a week from Thursday. South Point Hotel and Casino is a central hub of the NFR, and we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that some of the events scheduled at the South Point have been canceled, moved, rescheduled. Dr. Justin High joins us. He was with us last Wednesday from the Riata Equine Hospital in Weatherford, Texas. Dr. High, welcome. Let's get right to this. I know that a lot has changed. Give me a couple of headlines of over the last few days, things that you have seen in your mind that folks need to know about.
Well, it's good to be back. There's certainly a lot of things that have developed since last Tuesday. I think last Tuesday night was the first time I saw my first case and tested one. Things have gone well since then, and what I mean by that is horse owners, I believe, have been great by and large of being willing to stay home, to tempt their horses twice a day, and to really be smart about this because this is going to be the fastest way we get through this. So in general, like if you think about driving up and down the road, you don't see too many horse trailers going much these days. The most important thing that we can do right now is still stay on task with that. One of the things that you'll start seeing over the weekend and things that have changed today is the disease reporting, like how many cases are being reported. If you look on the Texas Animal Health website, Texas Animal Health Commission website, they only have 13 cases listed. We all know that there's more than that, but those are cases that are PCR positive confirmed cases, and that is the gold standard that they use by reporting that. There was actually another case listed out of South Dakota today that's all tied back to the WPRA finals. So what I want people to think is, yes, things are going good. We've kind of got a handle on a lot of things, but you're going to find more cases reported in the next few days because there's just a lag time, and there's no way to make that any better just with testing and reporting. There is a lag time between what's going on and what's really happening today. So that mainly does not change the fact of keeping these horses at home, riding things out, and monitoring temperatures, because that is the best way to pick these horses out.
Dr. High, with that being said, that is the biggest thing right now, is to continue that quarantine for as long as folks possibly can. But for a lot of fans here on the Cowboy Channel, we know that the National Finals Rodeo is starting to get underway in about a week and a half, just not quite 2 weeks from now. So some of the contestants with some of the events going on in Las Vegas are going to start heading that way, hopefully past their quarantine date and after Thanksgiving holidays. What can you tell some of those folks that may have questions of, okay, our horses are healthy, we've been quarantining, we're doing everything they've said, but we got to start heading to Las Vegas. What are some of the things you can tell them to be able to safely get their horses there?
Yes, and that's a good question. Ideally, when all this started, the horses that were asymptomatic, didn't have any fever, didn't have any symptoms, those horses got booster vaccines. And it wasn't for what was going to happen that day, it's what's going to happen 2 weeks from then. So hopefully that's been taken care of. If you can get through your quarantine or your isolation period and then head out there safely on that timeline, that's great. You're welcome to do that. There's going to be a lot of horses that were exposed at the WPRA or the Gold Buckle Futurities that are not going to come out of quarantine until the middle to the end of next week. Then those horses can go, assuming no new cases have come up. What we all need to find out about is, are you going to stop in New Mexico or Arizona? Or are you going to go straight to Las Vegas? What you need to find out is what each state's health requirements are to be coming from Texas. The time in which the health certificate can be written is a lot shorter nowadays, sometimes between 5 and 7 days before you can get that paper to go. And if you unload in each state, you're going to have that state's, a veterinarian in that state do your health certificate to get you to the next state. So planning ahead, calling ahead, monitoring each state's Animal Health Commission website daily to find out what those requirements are, and if they changed, that'll get you out there to Las Vegas. The NFR is going to have just as stringent of requirements as they possibly can for bringing those horses in to protect themselves, the horses that have not been exposed, but also to protect the horses that are coming in that are going to be clean. And that's the way we want to keep all of this.
Yeah, there's a look at the equine health requirements at the 2025 National Finals Rodeo. Doctor, this is all the common sense stuff that you've been talking about, I think, isn't it?
It is, and that's one of those things that Leslie Scher, that's the veterinarian out there at the NFR, she does an outstanding job, and she's done a great job with vaccines over the last couple of years. So this is just going to be an added bonus to what she's been able to do for them. just being smart about this. The other thing that you can do when you take your horses into stalls that you're not used to is those stalls need to be disinfected. Even if no horse has been in there before, just disinfect them. A lot of the things that we need to be careful of is not letting horses go nose to nose. Everybody wants to rope, everybody wants to do their thing, but we can kind of space things out a little bit and try and be as to ourselves as possible and still have a good time, still get things done. But you need to be comfortable with the fact that things can change along the way. So your veterinarian best knows you and your horse, and we can all look together to what the states are doing, how things change this week, because the disease reporting sites need to be monitored, because I promise you those things are going to change in the next couple of days.
Dr. High, you mentioned this briefly earlier when we started with you, but how, from a veterinarian standpoint, from what you've seen in about basically almost the last week, for the most part, horse owners have done a tremendous job at staying quarantined and trying to keep those horses isolated. And that's probably the most important right now, even for folks that are trying to get to some of these big events that are going on in Las Vegas that are going to continue. Staying quarantined for as long as possible, that's one of the big things on the list, isn't it?
Completely. I think that's the only thing we have that is time tested and without question. We can't vaccinate our way out of an outbreak of this, but we can sure eliminate it. And I know, like I said before, it's not that much fun, but if we can quarantine a couple extra days on this side, it's going to save us months on the opposite end. Some of those events have been delayed, and that's smart. And that buys us more time to get everybody kind of clean, get this shut down, get those horses on the opposite side of this, where we can go and bring horses together, commingle things, kind of go back to things as usual. But nothing at this time, nothing replaces that. And that's what we need to stay focused on. And veterinarians that I know of have just about lost their voice talking to people all day long over the weekend, trying to reinforce that point and make sure that that's the main focus that we have.
It's so important that everybody have accurate information. You told us about one other website that might be a good website for horse owners and rodeo contestants and everybody who's traveling at some point over the next few days to have in their arsenal, the Equine Disease Communications Center, equinediseasecc.org. I don't know where all to go, and I'm a horse owner, to get all the accurate information I need, but that's something people might want to include in their arsenal of information, right?
That is a good one right there, because that's just a disease reporting station out of Lexington, Kentucky, very scientific organization. You can look up any disease that you want to on that, strangles, even the respiratory form of rhinovirus. Be careful what you look at, so you're looking at the neurologic rhino thing, because they'll list almost anything on there, and it's a very complete and a very accurate website. But there is going to be a little bit of delay between what's posted there and what we see. By far, your local veterinarian is going to be, equine veterinarian is going to be the one that you need to get your information from. The AAEP as well, but the PRCA and all these other organizations are going to basically be putting out information that they get from them, because like you said, information is important, but correct and accurate information is what's going to be the key to minimizing a situation that's just poor timing in the world of disease. Yeah. You couldn't have really picked a worse time to do this.
That is so true. Dr. Justin High from Riata Equine Hospital out in Weatherford, Texas, joining us for the second time. Doctor, we certainly appreciate your time, and it's good to hear from you and good to hear you give some of our viewers some great information with this EHV-1 going on. We appreciate you.
You bet. Yeah, I think everybody's doing an absolutely great job. We just have to stay with it right now, and it'll all be good.
That is so true, for sure. Thanks again for joining us here on Western Sports Roundup. Stay with us. We're going to talk with Breakaway Roper Taylor Munsell. Yeah, the Breakaway Ropers, they've been getting affected from the EHV-1 with things getting postponed and delayed. We'll hear her part of the story coming up on Western Sports Roundup.
And the National Cutting Horse Association's Big Futurity is going on. Fort Worth, Texas. They have some very strict protocols in place as well. We will tell you about some of the highlights of the first couple of days of competition. All that and more on the way on Western Sports Roundup.
Western Sports Roundup brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of cowboys everywhere.
We live it every day. Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim. Live boldly. Live in rock and roll denim.
Part of our Thanksgiving telecast this week here on the Cowboy Channel, and some of the shows you're going to see is one event called Breakaway. Not only a unique event, but definitely a unique location out in California on Pismo Beach, right there by Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, all part of their big show there from the college at San Luis. Here's just a little more that you're going to see on Breakaway this coming Wednesday at 9 Eastern.
I had a vision, a stage, not just for champions, but for the next wave of rodeo athletes.
These are some of the best bronc riders in the nation.
In this year's Breakaway, there's really no other experience like it.
If it's my day out there on that beach, it will be my day.
Welcome to the 5th annual Beach Breakaway presented by Outriders. Not of the Resistance, let's ride one!
That is part of our Thanksgiving programming. You can watch it here in just a couple days. This Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. It's known as Breakaway.
Well, the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo is about to get underway. December the 4th is the kickoff day of the NFR. One of the things that has happened in Las Vegas over the last 40 years, several events have grown up around the NFR in conjunction to the NFR. Among those events, the all-in barrel race and breakaway roping. Now, obviously, they are concerned as well with the current EHV-1 situation as they get ready to kick things off a week from Thursday, December the 4th. Here's what the all-in folks have said about their ideas and the precautions that they are taking. A 5 to 7 day CVI, that is Certificate of Veterinary Inspection, and Nevada entry permit will be required for participants. No horses allowed in with symptoms or fever, and no horses will be allowed into the facility if present or near verified EHV case within the past 21 days. In other words, if they were close to a horse that had a verified EHV-1 case over the past 21 days. That is what is on the line, and that is what the folks who produce the all-in race are saying.
And the Masters, which also takes place in Las Vegas. Of course, the Masters event, they're kind of saying the same exact thing, trying to do their best with the safety precautions. Their stalls and high traffic areas will be disinfected regularly. Obviously, they don't want you sharing water troughs and water buckets with other horses. That's kind of a no-no anyway. Health certificates will be checked upon arrival. Veterinarians will be on standby to be able to help check horses. You can also go to the Masters Tour Facebook page to find out more info. Just one of the many events, as Steve was talking about, that happens during the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. As many of you know, the National Finals of Breakaway Roping in Las Vegas is one of the events that's been postponed because of the EHV-1 virus taking place. It was previously set to begin, kind of kick off the whole week of the National Finals, but we're actually waiting just here in the next couple of days, hopefully, to have some kind of an announcement as to when that is going to be rescheduled. So we thought we would bring in the lady that would be going there in the #1 position in the breakaway roping, and that is Taylor Munsell, joining us now to get her thoughts on it, kind of get a athlete's perspective of all things that are going on with this. And Taylor, as we welcome you to the show, I did just mention that we're waiting, hopefully within the next day or two, to get some kind of an announcement. But how has things been going for you as far as in the middle of all this, waiting for these announcements to get made?
Oh, I mean, I can say that we are as ready as anybody to hear about when it's going to be and where it's going to be. We're just trying to stay ready and prepared. I know for a lot of us, it's raining all over the place in Oklahoma and Texas and stuff. So practicing has been a little not working out for me too well because I don't want to haul anywhere. My horses have been home for the last month, so I know that they're all safe and healthy, and I kind of want to keep it that way. So we're just hunkering down and waiting to hear some more information on everything.
Have all of the top 15 been, I'm visualizing some very active text message and Facebook message and phone call threads and all that kind of stuff for you ladies to be communicating back and forth, trying to figure out what's going to happen for you.
Yeah, everybody's trying to keep each other in the loop. I mean, as far as what's going on with the virus and what's going on with our finals and kind of, what we want to do and where we want to be going forward. Obviously, we all want to stay safe for our horses, but we also want to get to rope at the finals. And, there's been a ton of conversations with the higher ups, and then of course us top 15 just talking to each other and kind of trying to all get on the same page about what we want going forward. Everybody has a different opinion on it, but we are all in the same boat. We made the finals, and we definitely want to get a rope there.
Taylor, in a normal year, I'd like for you to kind of explain what would be going on for you, say, this week of Thanksgiving prior to going to the national finals of breakaway roping. Now, with it possibly, getting postponed, maybe a few days, maybe a week, who knows what when that gets made. But what does it look like for you now? I know you mentioned that trying to practice right now is a little bit tough because you're not wanting to haul anywhere. You're wanting to stay quarantined, and I understand that. But what would it normally look like for you right now this time of year?
Yeah, it's really crazy to think about because right now, I should have been at my circuit finals all last weekend, and then I should have been headed to Arizona for the big ropings out there on my way to Vegas. And it's just crazy to think right now I'm quarantining away from all these horses when generally I wouldn't have been worried about it, and I would have had my horses around, hundreds and hundreds of other horses at this point in the year, and not even thought twice about it. So I'm obviously looking forward to getting gone, but obviously, my horse's health is the number one thing in my mind.
And it's interesting. I told you before we started this, and you as a Prairie Circuit member, the Prairie Circuit Finals Rodeo, hopefully they'll be able to find a time to reschedule that. That should have happened last weekend. The Kimes Ranch breakaway roping would be getting started in just a day or two in Arizona. Breakaway ropers, I guess where I'm going with this, breakaway ropers have kind of been on sadly, the brunt of some of these cancellations and these changes. It's got to be tough to keep your spirits up, but it sounds like you're doing exactly that.
Yeah, I know that all of us, I've been in contact with the top 15, and there were a few of them that were at WPRA finals and other places, but all of us have been in quarantine since finding out about the virus, and all of our horses are doing well. And I know we're all going to stay in quarantine and stuff going forward so that we know that our horses are healthy when we get to Vegas and get to wherever they decide to have our finals at. And obviously that's, one of the biggest things we're thankful for right now is that we're not facing this thing straight on and fighting the battle of having sick horses, because there are a lot of people that are a lot worse off than we are right now, fighting an unimaginable fight. So we're we're obviously ready to hear some new information, but we're staying positive.
Speaking of that positive, let's focus on that for just a minute. Now, we've talked about the EHV-1 and the postponement and all that, but when this Breakaway Roper Finals does actually take place, you're going in number one. Everybody's chasing you. In fact, you've never gone into the finals yet in that number one position. Let's talk about that and kind of where it all's kind of shaping up for you, because you've done well out there in past years. We've seen you do that, but what's that looking like for you going in with 14 other of the best breakaway ropers in the country chasing you this year?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I've always kind of went in from the outside. I've always went in a good spot, but we were looking at it, and I went in 4, 5, 6, 7 the past 4 years. So it is awesome to be going in number one. But it's kind of a headhunt. There are a lot of girls behind me that are deadly with a rope and riding good horses. So I think it's going to be. When we finally get it all figured out, it's going to be a super fun and exciting finals. And I think all of us kind of need that right now and get our minds off what's going on outside of that.
One of the stories I'm looking forward to telling, Taylor, when the finals actually does happen, and you don't have any indication of what the plan is going to be yet, other than a lot of people are talking and working and trying to find a place and a time. But you had a historic year. Breakaway roping had a historic year this year in the WPRA. You win 9 rodeos, including Reno, including Houston. You win $191,000. That's a record. That record was threatened by several other breakaway ropers. More money won this year by breakaway ropers in the WPRA than ever before. We need to keep our thoughts as we think about what you and your fellow breakaway ropers have done this year to the reality you have had the best year in the history of breakaway roping this year. All of you combined have, I think. I hope everybody keeps that in the back of their mind.
Yeah, I think the top 15 are going into the finals this year with over 100,000 won, and that's just crazy. That's something that even at the beginning of the year, none of us thought was going to happen, And there's always speculation about what it'll take to get in. And I think a lot of us were thinking it was going to be more like 76, 80,000 to get into the top 15. And we just kind of, the whole group as one, like surpassed that. And it was such an exciting race to watch all the way to the end. And the exciting thing to think about is this isn't even the beginning of how much better it's going to get as we keep going and we keep kind of figuring this rodeoing thing out, and more big committees come in and start doing equal added money and stuff. It's going to get exciting, and it's just going to keep getting better and better.
Taylor, I know this. I'm a big fan of Breakaway Roper, and I can't wait to watch you 15 girls out there. They'll get it figured out. We'll get the dates figured out when they're going to have it. No matter what, it is going to be fun for 10 go-rounds there in Las Vegas whenever you girls do get everything hashed out. Taylor, thanks for joining us here on the show. We appreciate it. Congratulations on the year you've already had, and good luck going into the national finals of Breakaway Roping #1.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Taylor Munsell joining us here on Western Sports Roundup. You better stay with us. We're going to talk a little cutting horses. The NCHA World Finals, the NCHA Futurity continues here in Fort Worth, Texas. We'll have some updates for you coming up.
And we just talked about the Prairie Circuit Finals Rodeo. Those are the barrel racers who should have been competing last weekend at the Prairie Circuit Finals in Mulvane, Kansas. They still had the opportunity to get together and recognize the accomplishment of qualifying. We'll tell you their story on the way on Western Sports Roundup. The Cowboy Channel's pre-NFR coverage is brought to you by Ariat. Ready, set, ride, and boots and jeans that work as hard as you do.
Glad you're riding along with us here on Western Sports Roundup. The NCHA and the National Cutting Horse Association and their Metallic Cat Futurity and World Finals. It's been going on for a couple of weeks now over at the Will Rogers Complex. And, of course, it continues all the way through next week. But right now, let's focus on the World Finals because they've had a go-round or two of the World Finals. The World Finals itself is going to come to a close on Wednesday night where they'll crown the champions. The Futurity itself will go on through the next week. But as far as the World Finals, the Open, in the first go, you're looking at a horse called Cat Play. That was the horse you were watching. That's a horse sired by Kit Kat Sugar. Monty Button was riding that one. 230 points to get the round win in round number 1. Now, here's the deal. They've got to get through a couple more go-rounds there at the World Finals. But no matter what, it's starting off pretty good for Monty Button and Cat Play kicking off round number 1.
So let's talk about the World Finals non-pro. Again, the first go-round done and paid out. $9,590 for Elizabeth Quirk riding a horse called Steam, owned by the 1027 Ranch. And Elizabeth Quirk turning in the top score of a 228 on that horse called Steam as you watch her going to work right here. Here is a look at your top 5. My Little Denver, ridden by Kelsey Johnson. The number 2 spot, Michelle Cowan and Most Stylish Player. Stuart Bozeman and Check Your Medal, and James Fiegel and Ranger Hughes, the top 5. Again, that is the first go-around, and as you said, the finals will be on Wednesday.
Yeah, that is all, of course, for the World Finals itself. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody because the Futurity itself, the NCHA Futurity, will continue through the rest of next week. As we take you to our American Hat Company's Positive Time Story of the Week, brought to you by the American Hat Company. Steve, the sad part of this is the Prairie Circuit Finals were canceled last week. They're trying to get together and hopefully try to find a date coming up to be able to host that. But the good part, the Positive Time story, is for the barrel racers as far as that goes. They came together and gave them a few awards for just qualifying to the Prairie Circuit Finals.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about what some of the barrel racers have said. Despite the cancellation of the Prairie Circuit Finals, the celebration went on. Today, the top 12 year-end finalists gathered at Charleston's restaurant in Oklahoma City to honor the season's accomplishments, and congratulations to those 12 ladies. Emily Beisel would have gone in the number 1 spot, over $20,000 for the year. Hopefully they'll be able to find a location, a date, and a time, and they can go ahead and have that Prairie Circuit Finals Rodeo crown champions and send a team on to the NFR Open.
When we come back here on Western Sports Roundup, more news out of Las Vegas. The Binion's Bucking Horse and Bull Sale. It's still going to take place. It's just going to have some modifications to it. Sale manager Nate Morrison will join us next on Western Sports Roundup.
News out of Las Vegas, the 2025 Binion sale, due to equine quarantine protocols, has made some major changes in order to still be able to host the annual sale during the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. It will be at the South Point Hotel and Casino, and it will take place on December the 5th in the South Point showroom, and it basically will be a video sale, Ty.
Yeah, it will. There's Nate Morrison joining us here on the show. He's a sale manager, has been for some time there at the Binion's Buck and Orson Bull Sale. Nate, let's kind of get those details out to everybody. You guys had to change one day, but kind of give us the whole entire focus of what it's going to look like. You're still having the sale. It's just going to be video only, not bucking any animals like you used to do in the South Point arena. It's all going to be in the showroom.
Yes, in the past, the sales always focused on the PRCA permit challenge, the Stay Smith Futurity. It was always a live, in action, buck 'em, sell 'em, have a rodeo performance where it was fan friendly. But this year, due to the safety of the equine animals, we don't want to have any horses in Las Vegas. We want everything to stay at home and quarantined and just safe until everything, all this blows over. So the best way to do that is to we're going to be in the showroom at the South Point on Friday, December 5th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we got all the videos, performance videos all ready for the online sale catalog. So we're going to use those videos and have a live action auctioneer and the ringmen. And, there's still, just like always, there's no other sale in the country that has every NFR contractor in the same room. And they're wanting to buy, so we're bringing them the consignments that they all have a reputation. The buyers still want to have the sale, so we're just accommodating them by trying to still give them the most elite sale in the country.
Nate, you told Ty and me before we started that it was really important to you that you have this event in the showroom there at the South Point. That is where the nightly buckle presentations take place. Actually, we'll be hosting Western Sports Roundup from in there every day. Why was it important to you to be in that room?
I really feel like, the NFR Buck and Horse and Bull Sale is the elite sale of anywhere as far as buck and stock sale goes. And I feel that we can take a terrible situation and make it even better. And there's just some kind of the energy in that showroom is going to have a very VIP, high-end feel to it. We're going to have the bar open, and we're going to have everybody come in at 9 o'clock. Socialize. We'll go right into bucking and selling at 10 o'clock. I just think the energy in that room is, with the consignments that we have coming in, I'm going into this feeling like we're still going to be able to set some records this year with some high sellers that we've never even seen before. Our consignments are that good, and the buyers are excited to buy. So the energy is going to be kicking on Friday.
Nate, I know you've got CCI Live, CCI.live joining you this year for the first time. That's for folks to be able to bid online when they're not at the sale. You might mention that for just a second. But something else I want you to talk about, too, is in conjunction with this sale has always been the Stay Smith Bronc Futurity. You're still selling those horses. You're just not going to actually have the competition because obviously you're not going to have them there in town to be able to buck those horses.
Yes. In the past, we always had it was the Stay Smith, which was the 4- and 5-year-old bronc futurities, and we always had them bronc riders, your 16th through, 30th bronc riders that just missed the NFR that would come in, and it was a $10,000 added. Pretty much a match bronc riding with all the horses being in a competition and a sale. Sadly, we're not going to be able to do that this year, but those consigners still wanted to sell them horses, and so they are still part of the sale that all those horses are. So we're going to have about 40, 50 bucking horses and about 26 bucking bulls in the sale altogether. So the consignments are definitely high end. We're excited to see what the results are going to be.
And I'm assuming you've had a lot of communication with certainly sellers and possibly potential buyers. What have they been telling you, and who was more motivated to have this thing? Obviously, the sellers want to sell these animals, but what have they said as you prepare to make it call an audible and have the online sale?
I tell you what, when I got the news on Friday that the South Point, when the South Point contacted us that we're no longer going to have the sale, first thing I had to do was start calling some Canadian sellers. Poor old Sean Francis, he was already on the road 6 hours going to meet up with his ride to get down to Las Vegas. So I had to call him and have him turn around and go back home. But the second thing I had to do was contact all the consigners, because the moment that the word got out that the sale was canceled, the buyers were trying to buy the stock before, since they heard that the sale, and the buyers are definitely the motivation of us wanting to still do this sale, because with the consignments that we have coming, as you can see in the video, these are the consignments that we have in this year's sale, and as buyers, these are the horses and the bulls that they're wanting. We got HD Page bringing bucking bulls this year. We got 5 bulls that are bucking in the NFR that are in the sale this year, including Flapjack. That was the 2023 Reserve Bull of the Year. We got the bulls, as you can see there, Stetson Wright going 90 at the Columbia Circuit Finals on Big Shasta. That bull's in the sale. That same day, Caden Loud won the Hondo Rodeo on Cord McCoy's bull, and that bull's even in the sale. So I mean, we got bulls and bucking horses that have been the top of your Justin McKee's stock roundups all summer long. The buyers want these animals; they want to have the sale, so we're just doing everything we can to make it happen.
Folks, I know that you can go to BinionBuckinghorseSale.com to Benny Binion Sale.
Binion Sale.
That's it. Thanks for correcting me, Nate. I knew I had it somewhat right, but that's where they can go for information. Of course, they can call you, Nate, to find out anything. But no matter what, you're still going to have the sale. That's the good news. Nate, thanks for giving us all the news, and good luck out there next week when you get underway on Friday morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it and look forward to having it.
Nate Morrison, your sale manager for the Benny Binion's Bucking Horse and Bull Sale. New sale day. Remember, folks, if you're interested in buying or being a part of that, of course, the stock contractors all in town for the Wrangler NFR to be a part of it. There it is, Friday morning at the South Point showroom there in Las Vegas, the South Point Hotel and Casino, December the 5th on 10 a.m. There's your website at the bottom of the page to find out more information. Stay with us. Coming up on Western Sports Roundup, we'll talk a little Pro Fantasy Rodeo. Have you built your team yet? Well, if you haven't, you may want to listen to Casey Jones and see what he's got to say. He might have a little hint or two. That's all next.
We are a week and a half away from the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. The action kicks off for the 40th year in Las Vegas on Thursday, December the 4th. That is the Thursday right after the Thursday that's coming up. That's Thanksgiving. We hope you will join us for all the action. Follow the NFR live here on the Cowboy Channel.
Well, since we're that close to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, you better get your mind on Pro Fantasy Rodeo. Casey Jones from that event joins us here in studio. Casey, welcome to the studio. I want to let everybody know the team, it's open, ready to play. Get your team built. It is go time.
Yes, entries are open right now. We're going to give away the best prize ever. The winner gets to pick whether it's a Ford or a Ram. Ag Wagon's going to customize it. You can pick any color you want. You can pick whether it's a short bed or a long bed or a dually, and then they're going to put all their cool stuff on there. They're awesome. And then we're going to give away a 11 quarters trailer, so elite 4-horse drop downs, front, rear. It has everything with an Outback living quarters. And so this is your rodeo rig. This is your high school junior rodeo rig. This is your farm rig. This is your trail hunting rig. Got to win this prize.
So let's get something right out of the way right off the bat, and that is for folks who are wondering right now, is my favorite tie-down roper going to be able to ride his horse? Is my favorite barrel racer going to be able to ride her horse because of the EHV-1 issues? Go ahead. Your message is go ahead, get your team put together, and you can change it Right up until the time that the rodeo starts, right?
Yep, you're correct. The show's going to go on. They're going to have
Yeah.
that National Finals Rodeo. You can make sure you get your team right now, but then you can change your team any which way you can, any which way you want to, until December 4th. When that first buck and shoot opens, that's when entries close. But you can buy a team, you can edit, you can change it 50 times if you want to, but make sure you get your team in.
So one thing, that's the rodeo part of it. Now I want to talk breakaway roping for just a moment, because we all know that breakaway roping has been postponed. They're probably really close to letting us know when that's going to get postponed to. But with that being said, talk about the pro fantasy game on the breakaway side and kind of what's going on with that right now.
Yes, we had the breakaway fantasy entries open for a week, and then when we heard news, we went ahead and paused it. And now we're kind of getting some reports that it's, more than likely going to happen out there those 10 days. And so as soon as we hear word, and we should, hear something pretty quick, we'll turn the entries back on. But that's a great game. Winner, $10,000, and you get to pick 5. So that, like with the big game and our daily fantasy, you build a whole rodeo team. So you have 8 riders. Well, with the breakaway game, you pick 5 ladies. And it depends on what order you pick them. The number 1 pick, you get 100% of her winnings, 80% of the second, and all the way down.
Interesting. Speaking of the structure of the game, you made some changes this year. You've made this different a little bit every year and tried to improve it every year. For those of us that are used to picking teams with $550,000 in credit, if you've always said to yourself, if I just had an extra $20,000, you've added the money that people can use to talk about that.
Well, I like to tease that we're going to give all of our players an extra $50,000 in salary.
Because you are.
Oh yeah,
because you basically are.
But yeah, for 21 years we had
Is the check in the mail, or what's the deal?
Right.
We've had 550,000, and that was kind of the iconic number that you have to put your team together. But with our tiebreakers, we have the second tiebreaker team, and then we have our estimated winnings, and we have actually comes down the time of entry. So we're, it's hard to split a truck and trailer in half if somebody wins it. So we're pretty confident with our tiebreakers. We want to make sure our fans have enough money to get the actual team that they want. And so this year, $600,000 you get to spend to put your team together.
That's definitely going to help in a few spots. Casey, you're actually holding the Pro Fantasy Rodeo's fan magazine. I was actually looking at mine just this past week as I was kind of starting to think about my team, putting stuff together. But there is so much helpful information in that magazine.
Yeah, Gail does a great job. It takes her about 2 months to go through there and write all 135 bios.
Yeah.
And then, she's right now, you can sign up and she's mailing them out, if you didn't get on the mass mailer. But then also you can look at the digital version on profantasyrodeo.com.
That magazine has become part of, a lot of us use it for part of our homework.
Absolutely.
As we're preparing for the rodeo. I don't mind it. For all the years that I did the radio and now with what I do at the Cowboy Channel, it was always part of my homework. It's something that you guys have I know, put a lot of pride in, and I know Gail works very, very hard on. What else? Are there other changes? Are there other things that you're doing differently that folks need to know about this year? The extra money to use to buy your team is I think, the biggest change you made this year.
We're going to have the $1 million bonus again.
Yeah.
So it's not an extra add-on or anything like that. If you have a Pro Fantasy Rodeo big team, our big game for the NFR, if every one of your riders wins the average, you win $1 million. We had, I can't remember what year, but one winner had 5 out of 8. And so it doesn't cost anything extra. And we're looking to pay that off. We're hoping somebody hits that.
Yeah.
This year, we're also the presenting sponsor of Cowboy Christmas. Really excited about that.
Yeah.
We're working on activation in the West Lobby at the convention center that we're really excited about. So make sure when you're going to Cowboy Christmas to come find us out there. It's going to be pretty fun.
This weekend on the Cowboy Channel, in fact, this Saturday, a show for Pro Fantasy Rodeo. You guys talking a lot about things coming up in Las Vegas, the show itself. That's all happening this Saturday right here on the Cowboy Channel.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The NFR Fantasy Picks airs 7:30 Saturday night, and we go through all the features of the Ag Wagon and the Outback and Elite Horse Trailer. Also kind of break down some of the favorite picks, whether you should pick the same team ropers or, pick a different team, and then we just kind of, it turned out to be a pretty good show, so I'm excited for it.
Has there, okay, and I know we're out of time, so our producers are going to want us to wrap this up. I always split my team of team ropers. Is there any data one way or the other? Have you ever been able to track
asked him that before, yeah.
Yeah, in the fan magazine, you can go back to the trucks and teams page because I really like that page because it shows the winning team every year, and it shows like last year Shane Reese didn't even spend his 550. He had 530. Well, he picked Clint Summers and Jake Long, and they roped together.
Right.
But we've had other winners that you could see on that page that they had different ropers. Yeah. You know, and the analogy is like, if you nail the team, you get twice the events paid. But then what if your healer misses? You still have a chance for your header. Yep. So both theories, you know, work. It just depends on how you want to put your team together.
Folks, if you've never played Pro Fantasy Rodeo during the National Finals Rodeo, you have to do it. I'm telling you, there's the daily game as well that you can be a part of. It just gives you a few extra folks to cheer for, and it does not cost much, and all the great prizes that you get a chance at. Please look it up at profantasyrodeo.com. It is definitely worth your time. I appreciate it. Casey, good to have you in studio with us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good to see you, Casey.
Stay with us here on Western Sports Roundup. We've got more coming your way on the other side of this timeout.
World champion barrel racer Haley Kinsel and her horse sister both headed to the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame someday. They could retire today and they would be legends. But there's a lot to the story of Haley and sister. We're giving you a chance to learn more about the backstory of that Palomino mare and the lady who has made her her best friend and partner. Chasing Greatness with Haley Kinsel.
To be a high-level barrel racer, you have to be fearless. Haley Kinsel and that horse sister, maybe the greatest of all time.
It's Haley Kinsel.
Sister has a passion, just like Haley.
Haley Kinsel is unstoppable.
Sister loves barrel racing. As long as she wants to do that, they'll have to peel me off to put me in my grave.
That is a great horse and a great young lady that's riding that mare, and I invite you to join the Cowboy Channel this coming Saturday. Chasing Greatness will show at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Folks, you won't want to miss that.
Well, it's time for your Veterans Hot Top 3 Western Sports Roundup headlines. That's hard for you to say 3 times fast. Brought to you by Veterans, Clean, Treat, and Heal. The Binion Bucking Horse Sale, the world-famous sale, will be held Friday, December the 5th. In the showroom at the South Point Hotel and Casino. It'll be an all-video sale this year. No animals. Starts at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Despite the National Finals breakaway roping getting postponed, we're waiting to find out when and where it's getting postponed to. But Taylor Munsell's going in the #1 spot. She joined us on the show to tell us how she's still getting ready for it. And the Prairie Circuit Finals, it may have got canceled last weekend. They're hopefully going to get a chance to redo that. But the barrel racers got together this weekend and got some special awards there. We shared that with you here on Western Sports Roundup.
You know, you spend all the money, but the swag lives forever.
That's right. Exactly.
Is that the way they say it? Congratulations to those ladies who qualified for the Prairie Circuit Finals Rodeo. So a new episode of Zero In is coming your way here on the Cowboy Channel. Katie Lucas, Mike Snow, talking about highlights, talking about money, talking about numbers. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We hope you will join us. It's always every Tuesday right after we get done with Western Sports Roundup, and they offer one of the most unique perspectives on all of the numbers that go along with the world of Western sports. So you're going to say goodbye. This is my last day here this week.
That's right.
I just want to say happy Thanksgiving.
That's exactly right. But we will be back tomorrow with some Western Sports Roundup. It's a shorter week, but we invite you to be here tomorrow. For Steve Kenyon, I'm Ty McClary. Thanks for watching, everybody.